Hey everyone, this is Khyati Maheshwari, and without any further delay, let's directly begin with our topic, Rett syndrome. So in the previous video, I have already explained you about the general introduction. In today's video, we will discuss about the clinical features and stages of Rett syndrome. Okay, so let's first see the clinical features. Clinical features are very simple to memorize and learn and understand also. Okay, so we'll see the clinical features or symptoms from head to toe. So let's discuss about the head region first. In the head region, impairment in cognition skills or microcephaly is seen. What does impairment in cognition means? The thinking ability of the patient destroys or disturbs. This means impairment in cognition skills. Cognition is thinking. Then microcephaly, micro plus cephalon. Micro is reduced and cephalon denotes the brain or head. So it basically denotes or signifies reduced size of head or the brain. Okay, so what are the things observed here? Impairment in cognition skills and microcephaly. Then comes our nose. Nose basically denotes breathing problems, breath retention, and which finally leads to hyperventilation. The patient of Rett syndrome have a tendency to hold their breath. They are unable to expire properly. So it leads to hyperventilation in lungs. Okay. Then come to the mouth region or teeth region. Basically, the patients of Rett syndrome show grinding of teeth. Grinding of teeth means clenching of jaw. It is also called as bruxism. It is doing like this. This is basically clenching of jaw and grinding. Then the second thing here is loss of speech and loss of abilities like swallowing and chewing is observed in the patient of Rett syndrome. So what all we have discussed here? Loss of speech, loss of chewing and swallowing, and also the bruxism or grinding teeth. Okay. Then come downwards. Let's discuss about what is observed in the stomach or GIT region, gastrointestinal region. Okay. There the reflux is seen and also the constipation. What does reflux means? Reflux is returning of the gastric contents into the esophagus and mouth, and it can also sometimes result in vomiting. Okay, so these are basically seen here, and also the constipation is seen. Then come to the limbs. Limbs basically upper limbs and lower limbs. First in upper limbs. In upper limb, basically hand things is observed. What are the hand characteristics? The patient have tendency to do wringing hands. Wringing hands are doing, the patient do like this. Okay, these are wringing hands. Then clasping hands. This is clasping hands. Okay. Then they also have a tendency of mouthing, that is moving their hands towards the mouth, and also they tend to clap without any necessity, or anyways they used to clap like this. Okay, so what are the things which we observe in hands? Wringing of the hands. This is basically wringing of hands, and then clasping of the hands, and then clapping without any necessity, and also moving the hands towards the mouth. Okay, these are the things observed in upper limb or hands. Then comes the lower limbs. In lower limbs we observe inability to walk and inability to crawl. These are the things basically observed under the clinical features. And one more important thing which is seen in generalized way is hypotonia. Hypotonia of muscles or flaccidity of muscles is seen in a generalized way. So these are the things which comes under the clinical features. Let us just revise them. First, the head, impairment in cognition and microcephaly. Then nose denotes breathing problems like breath retention, which leads to hyperventilation. Then comes the mouth. Mouth is basically denoting grinding teeth and loss of speech, loss of swallowing and chewing. Then GIT. GIT is for reflux and constipation. Then hands, wringing hands, clasping hands, clapping hands, and mouthing, that is moving the hands towards the mouth. Finally comes the lower limb, that is legs, where impairment of or inability to crawl and walking is seen, And lastly, generalized hypotonia is also seen in the muscles. So this basically completes our clinical features. Now let us move towards the stages. There are basically 4 stages in the Rett syndrome. Stage 1 is also called as early onset, stage 2 is called as rapid destructive stage, and stage 3 is plateau or pseudo stationary stage, and finally the 4th stage is late motor deterioration stage. So basically I told these names so that you can have an idea how this stage would look like. Okay, now let's discuss the first stage, that is early onset. It typically begins between the age group 6 and 18 months. Okay, this stage is often overlooked because the symptoms of disorder may be somewhat vague and parents and doctor may not notice the subtle slowing of development at first. Stage 1 is also called as early onset and it is seen between 6 and 18 months, and it is generally overlooked by the parents or the doctors because the symptoms present in stage 1 is very vague or unclear. Fine. Then the next point is what are the symptoms seen in stage 1 which are vague or unclear, but what are the symptoms? The infant may begin to show less eye contact and reduced interest in toys. Less eye contact, reduced interest in toys. Then there may be delays in gross motor skills such as sitting or crawling. Gross motor skills show delay that are crawling and sitting. Patient develops these very slowly, sitting and crawling abilities. Then comes hand wringing, decreasing head growth may occur but not enough to draw attention. Since these symptoms are very vague, they are unable to draw the attention. What are the symptoms we have talked about? Less eye contact, less interest in toys, then loss or delayed gross motor skills development like crawling or sitting. Then finally we have seen hand wringing and decreased head growth. Okay, this stage usually lasts for few months but can continue for more than a year. Okay, this completes our stage 1. Then comes the stage 2. Mind me, this is a very important stage and very deteriorative stage. Stage 2 or rapid destructive stage. In this, destruction or the deterioration of the body movements and everything, body development is seen at a very rapid rate. Okay, it usually begins between the age group of 1 and 4. It is seen between age 1 to 4. It may last for weeks or months. The onset may be rapid or gradual as the child loses purposeful hand skills and spoken language. This means this stage start can be rapid or gradual, but the deterioration is very rapid. And how it begins? Patient loses 2 very important skills like speech skills, spoken language, we can also say that, and hand skills. These skills have also been lost in the stage 1, but since they were vague there, and here these characteristics or the features are very prominent, so they can be easily seen here. Fine. Then characteristic hand movement such as ringing. I have already told you about ringing. This is like doing ringing. Then washing hands again and again, clapping hands and clasping the hands are also seen. Tapping hands, patient have these tendency to do with hands, and these are basically involuntary. Tapping hands and also mouthing. Mouthing is repeatedly moving the hands to the mouth, often begin during this stage. Okay, so what have we learned so far? This stage begins between the age of 1 to 4. Fine. And the patient loses 2 very important skills, hand skills and speech skills. Then some hand movements can be seen like ringing, washing, clapping, tapping, as well as mouthing. Fine. Now what I am going to say, please listen that very carefully. It is a very crucial sign observed in stage 2 and it denotes the Rett syndrome. It is very important. Please listen that very carefully. Okay. Child may hold the hands clasped behind the back or head at sides. It is saying child hold the hands that can be behind the back or at sides. Fine. With random touching, grasping and then releasing. random touching, grasping and releasing. So the patients or the children with Rett syndrome show a very typical sign which is seen in stage 2. What is this sign? They have a tendency to hold hands which can be at back or at sides. Then they do like this. And this is very fast repeated motion, and it is basically involuntary and directed towards the mouth. They do it like this. It is very repeated motion, very fast motion, and they have a tendency to do it involuntarily. Okay, this is a very important sign. Fine. Then the movements continue while the child is awake but disappear during the sleep. Breathing irregularities such as episodes of apnea and hyperventilation may also occur, although the breathing usually improves during the sleep. It is saying these symptoms which we have learned so far improves while sleep. So patient relaxes during the sleep. Okay. And some breathing problems also, like apnea and hyperventilation. Apnea is cessation of breathing, stopping of breathing or no breathing. And hyperventilation are also seen, but they also improves while the patient is asleep. Fine. Then some girls also display autistic like symptoms. I have already told you in the previous video that Rett syndrome is misdiagnosed with autism because they share some common features like loss of social interaction and communication, which is also seen in stage 2 of Rett syndrome. Okay, then walking may be unsteady. Initiating motor movements can be difficult. Walking is unsteady and initiating the movements is difficult. Difficulty in initiating a motor movement. Slowed head growth is usually noticed during this stage. It was also present in the stage 1, but since it was unclear, it was not noticeable at that point. Okay, so what all we have studied in stage 2? It is a rapid destructive stage, begins between the age group 1 and 4, show some loss of skills like hand skills and speech skills are lost. Characteristic hand movements can be seen like ringing, washing, clapping, clasping and tapping hands, and also the mouthing. And the very important feature was, or the crucial sign was, doing like this thing. Okay, repeatedly. The child may hold the hands or clasp the hands behind the back or head at sides with random touching, grasping and releasing. This is random touching. This is basically random touching, and then grasping and then releasing. Okay. Then we have read about the breathing irregularities like apnea and hyperventilation, which improves while the patient is asleep, and some autistic like features like loss of social interaction and communication. Then the unsteady walking and motor movements initiation is difficult, and also slowed head growth is seen here. Fine. Then comes our stage 3. Stage 3 is also called as plateau or pseudo-stationary stage. It begins between the age group 2 to 10 years, can last for years. And what are the clinical features seen here? Apraxia, motor problems and seizures. Apraxia and seizures are the new things which are observed here. Motor problems we were seeing in the stage 1 and stage 2 also. Apraxia is difficulty in performing some skilled movements like tying a shoelace, buttoning up the shirt, or it can also be a speech apraxia. So apraxia is seen here. Motor problems and seizures, that is epilepsy, is also seen during this stage. But still this stage is a better one indeed, because there may be improvement in behavior. There are many improvements seen here, and this is comparably a comforting stage, because improvement in behavior is seen, less irritation and less crying is there, and also less autistic features. Behavior improves, less irritation, less crying and less autistic like features. In stage 2 there may be more interest in surrounding and alertness, attention span increases, communication skills improve. Okay, so what have we read? Behavior improves because less irritation and crying is there, and less autistic like features is seen here. Since autistic features are less seen here, so the communication skills of the patient develops, alertness, attention span improves. Okay, and many girls may remain in this stage for most of their lives. This completes our stage 3, which is also called as plateau or pseudo stationary stage. So it appears like a patient has come to a stationary point, but it is not a actual stationary point. It is a pseudo or false stationary point, because after this stage conditions may become adverse in stage 4. Fine. Stage 4 is later motor deterioration stage. Here deterioration occurs and it can last for years or decades. Prominent features seen in this stage are reduced mobility and reduced curvature of spine. Reduced mobility and reduced curvature of spine. Then muscle weakness, rigidity, spasticity and increased muscle tone, that is hypertonia, is seen in stage 4, which leads to abnormal posture of arm and leg. Fine. Reduced mobility and reduced curvature of spine, then muscle weakness, rigidity, spasticity and hypertonia is seen, which leads to abnormal posture of arms and legs. Girls who were previously, but yes, there is some good sign in stage 4 also. Girls who were previously able to walk may stop walking. This is, sorry, not a good sign, but yes, the girls who were previously able to walk may stop walking, but cognition, communication, hand skills generally do not decline in this stage, and repeated hand movements may decrease. Eye gaze usually improves. Okay, so what are the difficulties seen in this stage and what are the good things seen in this stage? Difficulties are reduced mobility and curvature of spine, and muscle weakness, rigidity, spasticity and hypertonia is seen in this stage, which leads to abnormal posture of arms and leg. Then the girls who were previously able to walk may even stop walking, but something good is also seen here, that is communication skills and cognition skills or even the hand skills generally do not decline in the stage 4, which have developed in stage 3. And repetitive hand movements, which they were doing like this again and again, can also improve. They can also reduce an eye gaze, that is staring at something for a longer duration, can also improve. They reduce eye gaze and repeated hand movements. So these are basically the some good things seen in stage 4. So this basically completes our clinical features or symptoms of Rett syndrome and stages of Rett syndrome. I hope you would have understood it well, and in the next video I'll be discussing about the diagnosis and physiotherapy management in Rett syndrome. Physiotherapy management in Rett syndrome is very unique. It's people are not aware about that, but mind you, it is very important, and those things literally work. Okay, so this is all about today. Thank you so much for watching the video.